My clients usually ask me, what shall I do now, Natasha? I just finished the manuscript. Shall I go with a traditional publisher or shall I self-publish? The first thing I usually tell them is you need to find an agent. You have to query the agent and try to get yourself published in maybe one of the big fives. Why not? Now, the problem with that is it will take you a while to find an agent if you find one, because you have to query, send one query letter after the other. And if you land an agent, eventually the agent himself or herself, they have to pitch or query editors at publishing house that are willing to acquire your book. It will take a while. I mean, sometimes it can take you a year to find an agent or a year to even find an editor at a publishing house. It can be faster, but it usually like a couple of years thing. And when I tell them that, they tell me, oh, Natasha, I can't wait that long. Life is too short. I have this dream. I want to go ahead. And that's when we start talking about the self-publishing route. And hi, for those who don't know me, my name is Natasha Tynes. I'm a book coach and I'm also a memoir ghostwriter and I'm author myself. So back to self-publishing versus traditional publishing. Traditional publishing has more of a cachet. It can get you in the door of conferences, literary conferences where maybe you can get to speak or be on panels. And it can also get you reviews in big publications like the New York Times, etc. But you don't have control over many things. You barely have an opinion on your book cover. The rest of the stuff is pretty much managed by the publishing house, to the degree that you won't get your royalties or your royalties report like immediately. They send it to you every few months. You're basically be held to what they want to do. And then when it comes to the marketing, you still have to do the marketing yourself, because what's happening these days is that big publishers are not willing to invest marketing in you unless like you're Stephen, right? They would assign you a junior marketing person would do the marketing for you. And also another thing, many big publishers now would not even look at you or accept to publish you unless you have a huge following, huge social media presence, because they want to guarantee that you will actually sell the book for them. So yeah, so that's what happened. Self-publishing, on the other side, is you have full control over everything, the cover. Yes, you have to do the marketing yourself, but you don't have to split the royalties with the agent or the publishing house. You decide what to do with the book, which format. You own all the rights, all the audio, the film, all of that. The marketing is shifting, where in the past there was this stigma against self-publishing, right? And people would call it vanity press or vanity publishing, and people would say, well, if you self-publish, then traditional publishers will never even look at you. But that's no longer the case, because on my podcast I spoke with a number of authors who actually, after they self-published, the traditional published noticed and they came to them and they offered them deals. And honestly, some of those self-published authors turned down the big publishers because they said, we did the numbers, it did not make any financial sense. We already have the platform, we're already getting royalties, and if you do the math, even after the advance, like their deal is not worth it. So yeah, what I was saying, there are pros and cons to both traditional publishing versus self-publishing, but things are changing dramatically and rapidly, to the degree that self-publishing is becoming more, let's say, impactful and more powerful, and it's becoming author's favorite these days. And some of the people who criticize self-publishing, they would say, oh, well, they're not like professionally edited, or the cover, it looks like an AI cover. But if you want to self-publish, my advice is to hire a professional editor, to hire a book cover designer and a typesetter to help you set up the book. And you'd say, like, but where can I find this stuff? There's so many places where you can find them. Now I started helping my clients self-publish, so I'm also happy to help you. You can feel free to approach me. But yeah, it's there, it's doable, and you can easily self-publish. But again, if you still want to do the traditional route, please go for it. I personally prefer self-publishing. I'm going to continue doing that, mostly because of the control that I have, and I already have the audience a top publisher is not going to do much for me. Anyway, so if you're an author, what's your preference? Self-publishing versus traditional publishing? Let's hear from you.